this video I talk about Demeter. If you are new to this asteroid, Demeter is an asteroid you can look up in your chart. Please look it up and check if you have a 10-degree conjunction with it. If so, this video is for you. Now I'm going to talk about my personal experience with this asteroid and my research. Take it with a grain of salt, because of course, like always, check for yourself if what I say here is true. Do your own research, because asteroids are a pseudoscience. Therefore, they are not backed up by any official authority. So, if this resonates for you, you may apply it to yourself. If it doesn't, leave it behind. Demeter is actually something I have conjunction my sun in even less than 0.15 degrees. I have an exact conjunction in Cancer, where it is domicile. Therefore, I have Demeter in the strongest position you could possibly have in any natal chart. And this is quite interesting because everything that I do is focused on health, mental health, because it's in the 12th house. And that's what Demeter is about. Demeter wants you to connect back to the body, connect back to the earth, back to the mother. Because Demeter is the goddess of health, agriculture, and the crops. According to the mythology, she was a representative of the mother archetype. Mother archetype is represented by many deities like Gaia, the first titaness who gave birth to the gods, Demeter, who gave birth to Persephone, the maiden of death, who became the queen of the underworld. And Demeter had a cult, the cult of the Elysian mysteries, to prolong life. Therefore, Demeter is about longevity, prolonging your life, prolonging life. But what is life? We need to define what that is and why that is important to her. First of all, if you detoxify your body, if you cleanse yourself, you're removing dehydrating substances, mucoid plaque and other things and critters from your body that are draining your life force. Demeter is about improving your life force. Why? Because Demeter is about enmeshment. Demeter is about attachment to the earth. You know, if you, for example, Uranus is the husband of Gaia. Uranus is the sky god. Uranus is detached. Uranus doesn't care about any of this earth realm stuff. Demeter is the opposite. So she very, very much cares. Which is why often I refer to her as a neurotic indicator in the chart. Because she shows where you are being clingy, where you are attaching too much, which makes you suffer unnecessarily, because of course in this realm everything breaks down. Everything dies. And that's something that Demeter cannot accept in the mythology. Demeter cannot let go of her daughter. Demeter cannot let go of her body. Demeter cannot let go of nature, of health, of the fruits of life. Therefore, where you have Demeter, you invest so heavily into that thing. You invest so much that you become an expert. If you have Demeter conjunction with Sun like me, you become a nurturer, you become a provider for something, whatever the sign or house represents. But because you are in love with that thing, just like Demeter was with her daughter, in love with something that comes from herself, you are essentially in love with yourself. And that's what you need to be. It's about self-love. And this self-love lesson can be very, very heavy with this one. Because the self-love has to be centered around the fruits of earth. And that is where all the suffering comes in. This is why the Elysian mysteries and the Elysian rites were created, to use the Persephone myth of how she left her mother and became a psychopomp to the dead to help them transition out of life and into the underworld. That's what Demeter is about. To help you to make life as comfortable as possible, as good as possible. To improve the life quality to an absolute maximum, but then be forced to let it all go. And only if you do that can you truly embody Demeter at its highest frequency, which is the Empress in the Tarot. Now, if you heavily identify with Demeter as an archetype, you will identify with the Empress, somebody who is very resourceful, with many values, many skills, many talents. They can do all kinds of things. They can produce from nothing. You have the green thumb. Whether it's Demeter conjunction Mercury, where the green thumb of yours is your communication, that's what people find so valuable about you. But because you're so attached to communication, you have neurotic fears that if you do not communicate properly, it will be used against you. That is essentially what Demeter's weakness is: neurotic fears of loss of control. Because Demeter is Taurus. Taurus and the Scorpio axis, Scorpio is Persephone, her daughter. Taurus is her. So Persephone is her shadow. The shadow that everything must die. And that's something that Demeter doesn't like to look at, doesn't like to deal with. So if you do something where Demeter is concerned, if you have a conjunction Mars, if you have a conjunction Mercury, if you have a conjunction Venus, if you have a conjunction the Sun like me, whatever you do there, you will feel tremendous guilt and regret if whatever you do leads to a physical, material, quantifiable loss. Yeah, essentially it's a control freak, Demeter. And of course, you know, if you are the glue that binds you to this world, you need a certain level of control, otherwise you're going to die. You need to feed yourself every day, you need to cleanse yourself, you need to keep yourself healthy, you need to do this, you need to do that. There needs to be control. But have too much, and while you have millions of money in the bank, while you have all these beautiful things and you have all these, hopefully not plastic surgeries, or you are very good in your health and very robust, you know, like Sun conjunction Demeter means robust health, good constitution. Because Demeter is Ceres. Ceres is the ruler in esoteric astrology of Virgo. Yes, it's Virgo energy where you have Demeter. If you ever attracted Virgo kind of people, or you have an attraction towards them, or you feel like you are Virgo like yourself, look at Demeter. This is actually her connection to Persephone. If you watch my Persephone video, I talk in my Persephone video about the thing that there is a thing between Persephone, Demeter, and Virgo as an archetypal configuration. They fall into that realm. Fall into the realm of self-improvement, self-protection, self-cleansing, to have more wellness. For example, when the Romans created the aqueducts to have saunas and bath houses, that's a Demeter thing. Yeah, to provide some kind of service to somebody that just makes them feel like, yeah, this is so good. Is to bring nature into the room. So if you have a love for nature, or a love for plants, or you have a love for food, or a love for the physical body, a love for pleasure, Demeter could be very active for you. But unlike Venus, where it's really just like, you know, Venus shadow is hedonism, where you just eat whatever you want and you don't care. Demeter is the opposite of that. You care about the pleasure, but the pleasure of quality. And the Demeter shadow is wanting too much quality, wanting too much luxury, just wanting too much out of life, which can be a good thing. You know, if you want so much out of life, you will make sure that you get it. Your standard is so high that you won't tolerate anything less than perfection, the Virgo standard. Therefore, if you have Demeter prominent, you may be surrounded by Virgo type of people. Because you're so self-critical. You can't stand anything less than that. There is a very strong attachment to a physical ideal that Demeter is aspiring to maintain. And that ideal will be your downfall if you cannot balance it. So Demeter shows you where you experience karma, in which you experience loss. Something will be taken away from you and you have no control over that. You just lose control. To make sure that you are no longer a control freak. Which is kind of a little bit how Pluto works. Pluto in the chart is about control. But Pluto is about controlling your behavior, to have power over yourself, power over others. Demeter couldn't care less about power. She doesn't give a shit. Demeter is a receptive force. Demeter wants to attract. Demeter wants to feed. Demeter just wants to be a good mother. A good, attractive mother to everybody. The best mother. But a good mother, she often can fall into the shadow of doing a little bit too much, not having boundaries, or being so clingy. There can be addictions sometimes. These addictions don't have to be to substances. Could be addiction to health, could be addiction to sport, could be addiction to the gym, could be addiction to money. Anything that raises your material wealth, your prosperity somehow, that's where Demeter hooks. That's where she gets addicted to, okay? Very important. Of course, this is a pseudoscience, so you don't have to believe anything I say. You just need to study the myth, and then you need to look at Demeter in your chart. And trust me, you will find the neurosis there. Overthinking. Over-worrying. Being hypercritical. This is Demeter. And unfortunately, if you have Demeter very prominent, that whatever the planet belongs to, whether it's your father, Mars, Jupiter, Sun, Saturn, or your mother, Moon, Venus, then that is where the criticism and the control freakery came from. Because I have Demeter in Cancer, control freakery came from my mother, but I also have Demeter conjunction with the Sun. So my father was also a control freak. Control freakery all around me. Of people trying to use me as an object. You know, for example, Demeter is about starvation. My mother starved me when I was a child. She starved me for 2 weeks. So that is what Demeter shows you. Anorexia, eating addictions, body, self-esteem issues. I've had body dysmorphia since I was born. Sun conjunction Demeter. Control freakery over the body dysmorphia. Why? Being hypercritical about yourself. Because, you know, for example, my mother tried to control what I would eat and what I would drink. I would only be allowed to eat once a day. Which I'm still doing. I'm on OMAD since 2017. And when I was a child, I refused to eat instinctively in the morning. So I never had breakfast in my life. I hate breakfast. That's a Demeter thing. It's a Demeter thing. You're thinking, oh, I have Demeter, I must be indulgent, I must eat this, I must eat that, because those idiots online tell you about the nurturing qualities of Demeter. The nurturing is not about indulging the senses. This is not Venus. We're not talking about Venus. We have Venus in astrology. We don't need another Venus. Yeah? We don't need another moon. It's not the moon. It's Demeter. Demeter is Demeter. Let's separate that from what Venus and the moon are, okay? It's not the fucking same thing. So we need to stop confusing things. Demeter is about neurotic, pathological attachment to the material. It's not about pleasure. Demeter doesn't give a shit about pleasure. Demeter wants to keep what she has. Okay, it's not about pleasure. If she allowed herself to enjoy, she would lose what she has. It's about longevity. It's about control. It's about getting the most out of a good deal. Okay. So for example, my mother would also not allow me to eat any candy. Then my father fed me candy and I couldn't take it. I hated it. So I never ate candy. You know, there's children who are like eating, like you give them candy and they're so happy to eat it. I hated candy as a child. Sun conjunction Demeter in Cancer. Demeter is not about indulgence. And furthermore, if you are in love with somebody, this is also a borderline indicator in the chart. Because the borderline has an issue with object constancy. What is longevity? To keep the object constant. That's the whole point, right? So of course it's a borderline indicator in the chart. Demeter essentially was a borderline. She couldn't let her daughter go. Why not? Where's my daughter? Give me my daughter back. It's a borderline. The helicopter mother is an ancient old archetype of not the dragon mother who consumes your child, but the mother who tries to keep your child very close to her tits. So it's somebody who is so afraid of loss, they experience a lot of loss. They went through a lot of scarcity. They starved. Because Demeter, that's what she went through. She went through every single year of her life, she couldn't see her daughter for 6 months of a year. Unfortunately, that means that wherever you have Demeter conjunction, that's something you're going to lose. And the only way to get it back is to get it back through a spiritual channel. Because materially it will be taken away from you. So whether it's your money, Venus, whether it's your writings, your books, it could be stolen from you. People could steal your work. That's what people have always tried to do with me, Demeter conjunction the Sun. People steal my creative products. It's been stolen from multiple times. Ironically, it can also show you a connection with the Elster. I don't know what it's called in English. This bird that steals crystals, that steals shiny things. That's Demeter also. She sees something shiny, she says, oh, I should possess it. I should have it. It's mine. That's Demeter. Like Gollum. I know it's a weird example, but imagine the shadow of Demeter was Gollum, and you better understand what this is really about. My precious. So it's an inability to let go sometimes. But this is a loyalty indicator in the chart. So nobody's going to be more loyal to you than Demeter. For example, my father, he has Ceres, the other version, which is completely identical. Don't think it's different, it's not. Ceres, conjunction his ascendant. And he's been so loyal to me, it's actually toxic how loyal he's been to me. Like, I could do anything I want, and he would still be loyal. And I would be like, you're still loyal after I did that? Okay, alright. So be careful, okay? Because I've been there. You can be very loyal, for example, to narcissistic people. I had a narcissist ex once. I was so loyal to that person, it's just ridiculous, So the Sun, if you have Demeter conjunction the Sun like me, the Sun is your self-worth, your self-image. If your self-image depends on being loyal, you can see where it can be toxic. So it can be toxic also because you're the glue that holds things together. Like, imagine you have a family and everybody's fighting all the time. Who keeps the peace? Who tries to make everybody happy? Who tries to take care of everybody even if they don't give a shit about that person? Demeter. So Demeter could literally be like the archetype of an old woman in a foreign country, like a third world country, just feeding all her kids, feeding her family, working all day and all night, not having her own life. Her life are her children. Her life are the objects she is attached to. Which means those objects are controlling her. Therefore, Demeter would be somebody that's easy to manipulate. If somebody has what you want, materially speaking, physically speaking, it's very easy to become a slave to that. So Demeter shows you where you will be tempted by the devil to sell your soul to gain something material in return. And I've been there. Like when a narcissist future fakes and says, oh yeah, don't worry, you never have to work again. I'm going to go stream online and I'm going to make all this money with my tarot readings. And you never have to work. Demeter will be like, oh really? I can sit on my ass, be an empress, eat my grapes, and I never have to work again? I'm going to do it. I would let myself be abused for the physical freedom. No. So she wants a physical freedom, and she's going to get it, ironically. You have to get it. So you have to get wealthy and prosperous through that thing. So for example, if you have Demeter conjunction Mercury, it's Mercury that will lead to prosperity. If you have Demeter conjunction the midheaven, it's your career and your goals and your higher self calling you to embody prosperity in person, which will give you lots of opportunities. If you have Demeter conjunction Venus, it's your partners, it's your friends who will be attracted to you if you have the Demeter thing going. The Demeter thing is to have a lot of passive income, to passively be in a position to receive things, yeah, to make things grow, to be very good with business and with money also. For example, me, I'm ridiculously good with money. I don't know anybody who's better with money than me. Like, you could give me a very tiny amount of money and I will make that money into more money very easily. Not because I'm a business person. I hate business. I couldn't care less. I don't even care about the money. It's just easy for me because Demeter is so attached. Demeter is looking at the money like, my money. Like Mr. Krabs in in SpongeBob, my money. So of course Mr. Krabs is rich, even though he's just having a restaurant, but he knows how to manage his the people working for him. He knows how to advertise. And there is this rival that Mr. Krabs has who's trying to bring him down. Plankton. He's trying to steal, remember my stealing example, steal his formula to get money. Because nobody likes to go to his restaurant. Meanwhile, Mr. Krabs, everybody goes to his restaurant. So if you do actually have a restaurant as Demeter, success is guaranteed. Like, you're just so good at giving people the nurturing that they're looking for. You know exactly how to handle people. You know how to make them happy. Give the physical body what it wants. Like, for example, also when I was a child, I was very good at sniffing what spices I'm dealing with. Like, they would give me jars that are closed, and I would have to guess what it is, and I guessed correctly every single time. Because Demeter, she knows her stuff, She knows, she remembers what it smells like, what it is. She remembers what you need. It's somebody who has an instinct for business, a nose for business. Remember that line? Why do they say a nose for business? Why do they say a green thumb? Why do they say, I don't know what else they say. This is all Demeter stuff. And if you're thinking, oh no, that's so superficial. Oh, you're all about the money, you're all about materialism. No, I don't care about that. Bitch, listen up. If you have Demeter anywhere in a very prominent position, in a 5 to 10 degree orbit, you are about the money. I don't care what you say, you are about the money in that area. And if you're not, karma is coming for you. Oh, you think karma is about, yeah, I need to not care about the money, then I will be given money. Then you're delusional. And you need to sing Looney Tunes, the Looney Bin somewhere, because you're talking shit. Like, we need to get out of this shit. What is wrong with people? Oh, I detach from the money and so I can get money. You're delusional. It's a parasite consciousness. It's a dishonest, manipulative way of being. Yeah, it's karmic. Demeter says, I get the money because I deserve the money. I got the goods. I got what they need. I got what they want. I give value, so I receive value. Justice, like Venus. Except that it's not really about the money. It's about The fact that I'm the shit. I got the goods. I'm the provider. It's who I am, Demeter. Okay? If you have a connection with Sun or Ascendant like me, that's who you are. And when you say, oh no, I'm not about the money. It's not about the money, bitch. It's about you giving people what they need. What do people need? Money. Wow, it's so demonic. Money. The Matrix program. So Demeter shows you how you connect back to the earth. Connect back to nature. Out of the program, you love your money. You love what you can give. You love what you can provide. And you love it so much that you can become a slave to it. It's very simple. You can actually become a slave to nature. You know, like a nymph that refuses to leave her forest even when her forest is being destroyed. There's an example of this in Apocalypto, where the protagonists, they don't want to leave their village even though their life is being threatened. Somebody warns the protagonist, hey, the slave, the Maya, I don't know who the fuck they are, the Indians, they're coming for you, they're going to kill you, they're going to enslave you. And they say, we can't leave this is our home. So they get enslaved because they refuse to leave their home. See? So it's good to protect your home, but refuse to change, not so good. But wherever your home is, it will be prosperous. So it's a prosperous home in the chart, Demeter. Even if you have no connections there, no planets there, the house and the sign show you. Okay. And by the way, I'm making this video while the full moon is approaching and Demeter is conjunction the North Node. So if you're watching this, keep in mind that this video has been created at a time where the collective destiny was about connecting to that archetype. Yes, it's Mr. Krabs, I'm not joking. You think this is a joke? Is Ceres the same as Demeter? Yes, absolutely. So wherever you see Ceres in the chart, same archetype. Okay? Everything I just told you, apply it to Ceres. Okay? So please also look at your Ceres in the chart. Yeah, it's a control freakery because you see control freakery in the detox communities. You see control freakery in eating addictions, in anorexia, in bulimia. I used to be bulimic. Of course I used to be bulimic because I was on Demeter. Unsurprising. Because I wanted to live forever. Which is ridiculous, right? I mean, come on. But really, I was naive. I thought if I just stop eating and I just drink my food or something, I could eat like for hundreds of years. I mean, I could live for hundreds of years. Why? What for? To be in this shit show? Huh? Why is it so appealing, even the idea? It's just, it doesn't make any sense. It's not rational, okay? But Demeter, she loves the body. Yeah, this is very much against the Matrix programming. Because most people hate their bodies. Most people hate nature. Most people hate health. I mean, look around. Most people eat shit, or they like processed food. They look like shit. They get swollen. They get bloated. I mean, look at people in their 50s, in their 60s. You can't even see their face. Their face is this like a mush, a fucking mush, motherfucker. And when Demeter comes along, a Demeter person says, never gonna end up like this. Like, who do you think I am? A mush? I'm not gonna look like a mush. So Demeter refuses to look like a mush, and that's painful. Because that means you need to take the supplements, you need to drink the juice, you need to take the herbs, you need to have a healthy routine, you need to do sports, you need to work out, you do fast, you need to stop eating this, stop eating that, la 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 la, all those things that nobody wants to do. Because the body is conditioning. The conditioning will try to stop you. And Demeter says, fuck you conditioning. I'm on my bulimic streak. I'm fuck conditioning. I'm going to vomit in the toilet to have the ideal body image. This is why often you see also Demeter in modeling. People who model, people who put themselves on display, artists, creators of things, and people who sell certain businesses. You know, there's actually a business called Demeter. Like, there's actually a business that sells food, organic food, called Demeter. You know, that's like Demeter in the chart is like, I only eat organic. I only eat organic. You know, my son is connection Demeter, and my father bought an ozone machine to clean the pesticides from the food. Whose father does that? Whose father gives a shit? Nobody. My father did that. My father also bought me grape juice when I was young. Grape is the empress drink because she eats grapes. My father also used to, he would make these very elaborate meals for me. They were toxic, but you know, while my mother was like, don't eat, starve. You need to starve for your health. Starve for your health. Have the ideal body. Have this body, not that body. Rejection of the body in its shadow. Which is ironic, really. You know how it works? Do you understand what I'm talking about? It's about polarity. On one hand, Demeter is love for the body, but her shadow is hate for the body. Because if you don't maintain the image, if you're not a Burfarian or Lycurdarian or a bulimic, you're going to hate yourself. You either love or you hate. This is a form of splitting, black and white thinking. It's narcissistic. So therefore, actually, I also treat Demeter and Ceres as kind of like a narcissistic indicator in the chart. Of course, doesn't mean you're a narcissist. I have Demeter. My father is Ceres. We're not narcissists, but we both have narcissist mothers, both me and him. Which makes sense. We both have it in Cancer. So, of course. Therefore, you can see the mother is very controlling. The mother is very demanding. The mother is very entitled. The mother is very judgmental. The mother is like, you eat what I give you and you don't eat when I don't want you to eat. And you need to look like this. You need to look like that. You need to, I don't know, like what else? Do I have any other examples? Apart from the fact that my mother starved me for 2 weeks, which is really a very good Demeter example. Well, I used to be the admin in the Dr. Moss group. I used to be very popular in the Masterfast group. Generally, I was very popular in the Detox community. I went out of that community because I saw the neurosis. You know, I actually became bulimic from that whole game. So I stepped out because I said, you are all encouraging my bulimia. You are telling me that I am a good noodle as long as I vomit the pasta out. As long as I vomit the bread. And if I'm not eating the bread and the pasta, I should just be happy to eat my bananas and my dates because there's no other fruit here. By the way, this is just me rambling, but it's just important to understand that there will be a lot of focus on all the material stuff. Whether it's food, whether it's health, whether it's growing things, a garden, a home, a person, an investment, a business. To become the Empress is the goal of that planet that is conjunction Demeter in your chart. However you're going to do it, you're going to do it through that planet. Anyways, that's my video about Demeter in a nutshell. If you found it helpful, leave a like and subscribe. If you're interested in a personal reading, a one-on-one reading with me, check out my services down below. You can reach out at any given time for a personal reading. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.